morning to whoever's listening to this. I got I don't know, let's call it a prophetic insight this morning when I was hanging out with God, and I wanted to share it with you while I drive into work this morning. So my wife and I were watching Survivor, and last night was the season finale. And a lot of times at the season finale, the last episode, there's kind of this showdown between a couple contestants that involves them making a little fire. So it's a fire making challenge, and they have all the supplies there, like a big bucket full of various size sticks, and they've got flint and a knife and whatever. So they got all the stuff there. And so we were watching that, and I guess a little bit of background on me. I've been camping most of my life, so I've made a ton of fires, and then I've always had a fireplace in my house, so I've made a ton of fires. So generally speaking, I know how to make a fire. So that's the backstory. So anyway, I'm watching Survivor, and there's these two folks. They are competing to move on to what's essentially the last step. So potentially a $1 million challenge, fire making challenge. Just build this little thing. And so over the course of 2 or 3 minutes, it doesn't take long for them to do that, I'm watching them. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea how to strike the flint. They have no idea how to blow on this little tinder bundle. They have no idea what size stick to be using. They're trying to build a teepee that's sitting up significantly higher. I mean, significantly higher than this little tiny spark that they have in the tinder bundle. And it goes on and on and on. In other words, as someone who knows how to build a fire, knows what size sticks to use, knows how to arrange the sticks best for, proper fire building. I'm watching these guys, I'm like, y'all have no idea what you're doing. Their technique was absolutely terrible. One of them got lucky and ended up getting a little fire going, and that contestant won the fire building challenge. The other guy, who was just a fantastic contestant, he was clueless. So that memory, image, vision pops into my head this morning, and the insight that God gave me was something to this effect. In our daily lives, my life, your life, every single day, we are doing stuff, and we have terrible technique. So the one-liner that God gave me was, what are you doing in your life? What am I doing in my life right now? And my technique is terrible. So it obviously could be applicable to whatever you're doing, your hobby, your work, your parenting. One way that I think it, I don't know, it is potentially applicable to me is in your for lack of a better word, in your quiet time with God, or in your relationship building with God, or in your church or whatever, that most of us Christians have a relationship with God, at some level. And I think what we do with that, how we grow it, where we grow it, is really important. And so what I'm asking you, what God is asking me is, all right, so let's apply this scenario, this scene, this dynamic of me and my relationship with God. Let's apply that to the Survivor fire building principle. So let me ask you, how is your technique with regards to building a relationship with God? Are you trying to pile sticks the wrong way? Do you have no idea how to use flint? Do you have no idea how to pick up your little tinder bundle that's got a spark in it and to blow on it gently in just the right way so that it actually gets bigger instead of blowing it out? Etc., etc. And so I guess the logical next step, the logical question is, hopefully you and I mean, I'm speaking to myself, are humble enough to realize, man, I'm not really good at this, or I need a lot of work on this, or I can get a spark but then it goes out, or I mean, we can look at and pick apart and diagnose our walk with God, our quiet time, our devotional time, and see parts of it where the technique is pretty bad. So the question is, all right, well, how do I get better at that? And I'm not necessarily going to give you an answer to that, but I would say and encourage you that if you, one, spend some time with God and ask him that question, ask God, hey God, where's my technique pretty bad? Show me, speak to me, Holy Spirit, convict me of where I need some help, some practice, some growth. And then over the next day, 2, 3, the next week, keep that on the forefront of your mind and be open to different things. Be open to different people saying things. Be open to God is going to speak to you. He's going to answer that prayer, and there's no telling what way he's going to do that. You're going to see a bumper sticker, or you're going to just have a crazy thought in your head, or you're going to have a big fight with your spouse or one of your kids, or you're going to get fired. I mean, there's no telling how the next week is going to unfold, the next month's going to unfold, whatever. But you will, I think God will honor that prayer, and you will begin to get insight into where you need some help and some practice. And so if you're in the habit of dialoguing with God and spending time with him, I think you're going to get some pretty cool information. And so that's the first step. Wow, I need some help doing this. Wow, I need an accountability partner. I need to help with my anger. I need to get on a budget. I need help dieting, whatever it is. And then the hard part begins. But once you are aware of a lack of technique in a particular thing, that's a really big step in the right direction, because now you're open to receiving direction. You're open to guidance. You're open to constructive criticism. So I think you get the point. I'm going to stop rambling on about that. See y'all soon. Bye.